everyone. It's such an honor to be here, and huge thanks to Jaguar Land Rover. I absolutely love working with your teams, and incredible job on all of this and your sincerely impressive accomplishments. So as a business coach and Fortune 500 executive coach, I have created tools to shift physiology to adapt to stress, improve deep sleep for optimal performance, and change metabolic process to accelerate fat burning. All of you in this room have worked incredibly hard to get to where you are, so just know these tools will help just elevate what you're already doing so well and take it to the next level. Starting with cortisol, which is our stress hormone. We make a certain amount of cortisol in the morning that just gets us going in our day. We need this hormone to accomplish daily tasks. Cortisol is meant to rise and fall, and in the evening, it's meant to fall, setting us up for a good night's sleep. Due to physical, emotional, environmental stressors, which we all experienced at some point, cortisol can stay elevated. And when this happens, our body knows it needs to maintain the pace of our day, maintain the pace of that cortisol production. So it starts to pull from two other areas. It will pull from our thyroid, which governs weight management and metabolism, or it will pull from our estrogen and testosterone, which governs sex drive and a number of other issues in the body, or good things in the body. So in order for us to maintain this balance, this hormone triangle balance, there are a number of ways we can manage our stress. But for today and for time purposes, I'm going to take you through just one simple technique that can shift your physiology at any point in your day, whether it's boarding on an airplane or going into a Zoom meeting. And it's going to play a direct role in calming the amygdala, which is the part of the brain that senses fear, part of the brain that gets overly stimulated and can cause anxiety. So since I was clearly nervous walking out on stage, I always do this breath technique to calm my nerves, lower cortisol, and I hope it helps you in your day. So I invite everyone to stand up. I know you've been sitting for a while. And let's stand up nice and tall. So bringing your feet hip-width apart, shoulders down and back. Love seeing you all. Just the act of standing up straight can actually change our cortisol production. We're going to add to this by moving the breath from our chest to our rib cage. So our chest breathing signifies the sympathetic nervous system, which is the place that we're in fight or flight mode. This can be when we get a frustrating email. This can be when we're just running from one thing to the next, burnt out on Zoom. There's a lot of ways that we can get into the sympathetic nervous system. This breath technique is going to take us out of that system and into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is that calm, focused place. So we're going to stand nice and tall, place your hands on your rib cage, and you can keep your eyes open or closed, but the idea here is to, when I say inhale, you're going to feel your ribs expand, bringing that breath down to the rib cage, and when I say exhale, you're going to feel the ribs contract. We're going to move the breath from that chest breathing to the rib cage. We're going to go through the nose rather than the mouth. So just a few simple breaths. Inhale. Longer exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Long exhale. On this last one, hold your breath out at the bottom. Deeply breathe in through the nose. Let it all go. So nice. You can open your eyes and have a seat. So it might be subtle, but it is the influence of the autonomic nervous system that starts to calm these places of anxiety, starts to allow us to react in a different way. So while it is very nice, and many of you might be doing it, to go meditate for 30 minutes, just know that this one simple technique, moving the breath into the nose, moving it into the rib cage, is going to add up to make a big difference. Moving into sleep, so all three of these pillars are synergistic with one another. So we know how we feel when we're stressed. We definitely know how we feel when we don't sleep well, and usually those two things can go hand in hand. So sleep, as I mentioned, is the ultimate repair. When we sleep, about 95% of the glymphatic system is turned on. The glymphatic system is when the brain expands and cerebral spinal fluid flushes through the brain, almost acting like a shampoo for the brain, clearing out brain plaque and toxins. This is incredibly beneficial for us in a number of ways. One is it's going to stimulate neurogenesis. So that is the process by which we create new neural patterns in the brain, and we're able to imprint new memories and flush out old neurons that no longer serve us. We're also balancing leptin and ghrelin when we sleep. These are the hormones that are responsible for hunger and satiation, so it has a direct impact on our weight management. And then when we sleep, we're also able to repair cellular turnover, which is great for beauty, hair, skin, and nails, but most importantly, anti-aging and helping defend against pathogens and disease. So sleep is obviously super important, but we want to focus on the quality of our sleep and not necessarily the quantity, although quantity is good. We want, of course, more than 6 hours of sleep. But it's in the deep stages of sleep where we're going into those theta brain waves, that repair process, where we see the best results take place. So one simple way to improve these deep stages of sleep is actually by getting out in the morning light. With phones, with technology, so phones, screens from our iPads or computers, we are starting to dysregulate our circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is the body's 24-hour clock. This is going to allow for us to make certain hormones. So it's going to make that cortisol in the morning, as well as norepinephrine and adrenaline. It's also going to make melatonin in the evening. Because of these screens, we're actually dysregulating that ability to make our own hormones. And by no means am I going to tell you to get rid of your phones or not use your phones as much, because you probably throw them at me. But I will say that in the morning, and this has actually been proven, several different universities have done this study, where if you get out in the hours of 8 and 11 with no sunglasses and no sunscreen, just for a few minutes, so again, dermatologists would also probably kill me, but this is only a few minutes where that light, that natural UV, is being emitted into the eyes and emitted onto the skin. And that can actually play a big role in improving your melatonin production at night and also increasing your energy during the day. There's a lot of other great techniques with sleep, but just for time purposes, we'll just leave it at that. And then moving on to our fat burning. So especially as we move into the holiday season, and just in general with nutrition, I find that the best strategies are the ones that are enjoyable, that we can sustain, but most importantly, we can indulge without sacrificing our goals. So many nutritional strategies work, but this one's deeply rooted in science, and it's going to actually completely shift the body's chemistry. Intermittent fasting has been shown to actually speed cellular turnover, allow our body to burn fat for fuel, and repair our body's own battery. So in the 16 hours that you're not eating, so for everyone who hasn't heard of intermittent fasting, it's just shortening the time in which you eat. Fortunately, because you can still drink coffee and tea. But in that in the 16 hours that you're not eating, the body goes into rapid cellular cleanup mode, known as autophagy. It's going to repair the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of our cell. Essentially, it's like plugging in your iPhone at night and rebooting its own battery. I personally like to wait till noon to eat just because like many of you, we like to be social. We like to go out and have dinner and cocktails. So it sets your body up to get to do that, get to enjoy, and you're going to be burning fat around the clock. It's also great for travel. It's one of the best strategies when you're traveling, especially on an airplane. It's going to keep that metabolic rate high. One of my favorite topics is cocktails, and we'll be having some together later. So before we end this session, I will say that while you go into the holiday season, just enjoy. But if you want to just upgrade your cocktails, I would say choose tequila, vodka, or gin. So those three spirits are going to they're going to have a great effect on your insulin levels. Insulin can, depending on if it rises or falls, it can store fat or help burn fat. So that's actually going to help burn fat. Combined with club soda and then citrus. Any kind of citrus is going to be anti-inflammatory, great for your pH balance. And then adding in any kind of herbs or spices will be great and high in antioxidants and give you a true cocktail without having to sacrifice your goals. So it's such a short session, but hopefully from this session you can take away the breathing technique, that diaphragmatic breath, the sleep technique, which is going to be getting out in the sunlight in the morning hours, and then either tequila or intermittent fasting or both. Tequila specifically contains agavins that coat your gut flora, great for immunity. But in general, again, you are all doing so well. So the nice thing with these is it just accelerates what you're doing. And it should just be something that easily fits into your day. Doesn't sacrifice your time or energy, but makes a big difference. So I hope to stay in touch with you. I will be here definitely for the reception. So if you have questions or want to reach out to me for anything, I do quite a bit of work with luxury hospitality brands and just partner with United Airlines for all of their healthy travel. So on the travel front, we're coming out with a lot of content and healthy holiday series. So if you're interested in any of that, please feel free to reach out. And I'm just so grateful to be here and to be with you all today. And thank you very much for having me. And just have a wonderful holiday season with your families. Thank you.
I don't believe everything